Hey guys, Nabil here, and first of all, apologies for my voice. Have kind of, it's kind of the flu, kind of just a sore throat. But anyway, it kind of sucks to talk, but I had to because it's kind of important right now. As you know, we just had the open beta for the King of Fighters 15, and boy, what a crazy weekend that was! And unfortunately, it's now over. Right? I mean, it was kind of difficult. I needed some time to process and sob and cry under the shower because I don't have King of Fighters 15 anymore. And now that all that's behind me, I can talk about my thoughts about this open beta. Before I get started, gentle reminder to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you know whenever I drop a new video. Now let's talk about it. The King of Fighters online open beta, hopefully the first of, and that means we're gonna have a second, we'll see, started on Friday. It was kind of early Saturday for me. Now I'm gonna talk about what I thought of the game, the netcode, and the presentation, everything. So I got to play the game on PlayStation 5, and I played it as much as I could. It was kind of busy weekend with the King of Fighters 14 official tournament here in Morocco, which I was commentating, so it was a little bit difficult, but I still played and had a lot of fun, a lot of online matches. Now let's talk about the first impression I had. The menus were slick. I loved how easy they are to go through. I think they look fantastic. I like the simplistic, minimalistic approach they're doing with the menus. I think they're great. And the second thing that immediately caught my eye is how beautiful the game is. The graphics are amazing. The videos that we've been seeing then are not doing it justice. When you watch it in 4K with high dynamic range, HDR, it just looks phenomenal. It looks so beautiful. The stages are busy, the characters are lively, and it's so fluid. I know King of Fighters 14 was also 60 frames per second, obviously, but somehow this feels so fluid. Feels a little bit faster. It just looks amazing. It looks really, really amazing. I couldn't, stop watching it and looking at it. It just looks fantastic. And while I'm speaking here about presentation, there's another thing that I have to mention. The music is amazing. The music in the game is amazing. Whether it's the stage music, which is the team's music, or the special themes you get, like when you play Kyo versus Iori or Yashiro versus Iori again, it's just amazing. The remixes we got from old King of Fighters favorite themes are just mind-blowing. So that looks fantastic. In terms of gameplay, the game feels like King of Fighters, like a way better version of King of Fighters 14. It has the same. I mean, if you play the King of Fighters 14, you'll feel right at home. But the fact that you can do EX moves now outside of max mode kind of changed the game and gave it a lot of variety in terms of combo. You can get really, really creative in how you do combos, and it was so much fun. The game feels perfect in terms of gameplay. I'm not gonna talk about balance because that makes no sense. This was a beta. We had 8 characters, but this is just it's just a beta, right? So things will change. But I found myself really having fun playing Chris and playing Yashiro. And these two I never played before. I mean, I never mained in the previous games. They were never cared about them. But I just loved having Chris in my team and all the crazy shenanigans and pressure you can do with Chris. And Yashiro is a freaking beast, at least in the beta. Things will probably change before the release of the final version, the release of the game in February. So there are some things that people are worried about in terms of gameplay, like for example, throws are a little bit strong right now, and you can easily throw people on wake up. When they're waking up, you can throw the enemy quite easily. Things like that might change, but again, I don't want to talk about balance a lot. I just want to talk about this beta, the whole point of this beta was to try the online, right? King of Fighters 15 is now using a rollback netcode. This is the first time a main SNK game is going to have rollback netcode, and it was announced it is actually GGPO. It's tried and true, and we know it works when implemented right, and SNK was right about doing this test, so we can feel where things are heading. And I'm gonna talk a lot about that, but a couple other things I want to mention. The training mode, which was available in here, was really well. I love the idea that you can see the the move you do on block, or when it hits, what kind is it in terms of frames, is it positive or negative or neutral. I think that was really good. I would have preferred if we actually saw the frames as well. Like is it +2 or +1 or -1, etc. I think it would have been really cool if we can get that, and that'll be really amazing. I'm still thinking here about some other things. I think the options that you have right now are really good. I've seen some cool suggestions. For example, in training mode, when you hit the touchpad, if you hit the touchpad on the sides, it resets the training mode into puts you in either on the corner, right corner, or left corner, in the center. And I think it would be better. So for my case, for example, my stick, the touchpad only works in the middle, so because it's a modified arcade stick that I have. So I think it would have been really cool. And I saw Freonel actually mentioned that if you could control the touchpad, and touchpad plus forward, like you will be on the on the right touchpad and back, on the left touchpad and down, center, etc. Things like that. I think it will be really cool. But these are again just suggestions, and the main focus again of this beta was the online. So how was the online? Now, that's the $1 million question. The first match I had was quite laggy, and I was like, oh my god, there's a problem here. However, it was just a one thing off, and things started picking up. The matches after that were really smooth. I was really amazed. When it works, it's not perfect yet. It is not perfect yet, but it's definitely the best netcode we've had from a main SNK game. Now, when it works, it works. I had matches, and this is crazy. So I had matches with people in Europe, and that works flawlessly, right? I mean, and to be honest, even in the King of Fighters 14, I have some great matches with people in Europe. But here's the thing: I had a match with Bandon. If you know Bandon, he's a SNK fan. He has a YouTube channel. He's quite known as well. And I had matches with him, and he's in Malaysia, and I'm in Morocco. And that thing worked. It really worked. However, the first round was great, and then the second round was great, and then the third round, the game crashed. And I thought it was just a one thing off. So we tried again, same thing. It worked the first time, it worked the second time. But here's the crazy thing, because we were in a room, I'm going to be talking about rooms later on. We were in a room, so the spectators, because I was streaming, I could see people talking about the match. Me and Bandon couldn't see the screen anymore. It was black. But the spectators could actually see the game. And, when I did that, I started moving the stick. Even though I have a black screen, the spectators were actually seeing my character moving. So it's kind of like a weird desync that happened in there. But when it worked really well. Then I had another match with someone in the US, right? And Morocco to US, King of Fighters 14 was barely playable. It wasn't playable. It was kind of difficult. You could just forget about that. But in this case, it was really playable. I didn't feel any lag. The first match was kind of spotty, but again, the user had Wi-Fi, so that might be it. And then the second match, it was flawless. It was literally like playing anybody in Europe or in Morocco. So that showed that the netcode really works. And I had some great matches, some really nice matches. However, as I said, it is not perfect, and that's normal. I mean, they're still working on it. There's some issues. There's some rollback issues. So, for example, you have some, and this is what a lot of people mentioned this, is that there's a one-sided lag. So if I'm playing against someone, I would get lag and he wouldn't, which is crazy advantageous for him, of course. So this is an issue with sync. Like basically the netcode needs to be has to sync properly before the match starts. So that's something that is very known with GGPO, and there are ways around it. I'm sure they're gonna fix it. Even SNK said they know about that and they're gonna fix it. Another thing is we get, like you get this weird sound glitches sometimes. So you would hit, let's say you hit your opponent and he blocks, but then instead of the proper sound of blocking, you actually get the sound of the hit and the characters screaming while they just actually blocking. So it was kind of weird. This kind of like, again, this has to do with rollback, but there are ways around it. There are fixes around it, and I'm pretty sure SNK will be able to do it. So basically what we got works, and it really is showing. It's really promising, and it really, makes me feel really good about how the game is going to play when it comes out online. So it's GGPO, I think, was a great idea. They still have some time to work on it. Now there's some other issues if we're talking about online. So we had both the casual matches and room matches. When room matches been lobbies, casual match was not working in the beginning. And then they fixed it. There was one major issue, by the way, that I should mention that it wasn't fixed, is that the beta was supposed to not require you to have PlayStation Plus. However, for people who did not have PlayStation Plus, they couldn't play. SNK tried to apparently maybe fix the problem, but they didn't, because I think that's from Sony's side and not SNK, and it wasn't done on time. So people who didn't have Plus could not play the beta, which is quite unfortunate. Now I do have PlayStation Plus, so I didn't know about that until I was, maybe the second day. And going back to online, the room matches or lobbies, I think need a complete rework. First of all, I was really disappointed to see them not using the excellent and perfect lobby system from the King of Fighters 14. Instead, we got a revised version of the Samurai Showdown lobby system, which I hated because it was not good compared to King of Fighters 14. Not only that, there were some weird issues, so it was really difficult to understand what's happening. So I had the room matches, and then I would win. So I win the match. Now the person who's in line, the second person, is the one I'm gonna have to fight. However, when I press the X button, I'm which is to confirm, but it wasn't to confirm, because if you press the X button, you actually for some reason go out of the match and go back to the line even though you won, which made no sense. Then there's this weird timer that is really, really fast. You don't, just by the time you think what that timer is for, if the timer ends, it kicks you out from the game, not the game, but I mean from your position where you're supposed to fight, and then kicks you back to the line again, to the waiting line, which was what is happening. It was really, really weird. That timer was so freaking short. It didn't make any sense, and the whole room interface just was weird. I didn't understand it. I played it maybe a couple more times, and I really haven't understood what they were trying to do with that one. I think that needs a complete rework. However, I do not want this game to be delayed. So if this is gonna take more time, I would rather that they do this as a post-launch update. They'll just they fix what you have right now, make it better. Get that timer off. That makes no sense. I don't want any timer. Or if I have a timer, I want it to be like maybe a minute or 45 seconds or something, not like 5 seconds or 6 seconds or 10 seconds, I think is what they had. Make it more visible, make it more coherent. Let us have that, and please SNK, give us the King of Fighters 14 lobby system, because if they have to do it right now, I know they won't be able to do it on time. It's just, that's going to be a lot of work, because they already have the whole thing done. That's going to push the game to be delayed. I don't want that. After playing this game for 3 days, I can't wait to play it again. It is fantastic, and it has the potential to be the best. Yes, I'm saying it, and I'm taking responsibility for saying this. It has the potential to be the best King of Fighters game. It is just beautiful and amazing. There's another problem again, which I hated, is the level system that they used for showing the type or the level of connection or the quality of the connection of the opponent. Right now, it it's absurd. It makes no sense. So it has 5 levels. You have level 1 is the worst. So level 5 is the best, and that's between I believe, I can't remember, 0 and 20 milliseconds, and then between 20 and 40 is a level 3, and then level 4, etc. And then anything above 100, not 100, anything above 93 or 95 milliseconds is considered level 1, which is the worst of the worst. Which makes no sense, this makes sense for, Japanese players in Japan. They have great connection and they play this kind, this such a low ping. It is not the case for the rest of the world. For example, all my matches, when I have a great match with someone locally, it's going to be around 40, 50, 60 milliseconds. And that's great. It plays awesome, of course. So that I'm already in like level 2 by then, or 3. So I'm already not doing great. And then most of my matches when I play against Europe is around 90 to 100, and it plays absolutely fine. So I'm already at level 1. And then you have, so for me, a level 100 milliseconds plays fantastic. 300 milliseconds is unplayable. But according to King of Fighters 15, 100 milliseconds or 300 milliseconds is all crap. It's all more than 100, so it's level 1. So most of my matches when I was not playing against people in Morocco was level 1. So it was really difficult for me to see if this is going to be a good match or not. It's really confusing. I would rather have them use actual milliseconds. Show us the ping so we know if it's a match worth getting into or not. It's already in there. They already counted and tested. Just please show us the ping. And if you want to keep the levels, then spread them out a little bit, because that makes no sense. It should be level 1, level 5 should be from 0 to 50, level 2 50 to 100, level 3 etc. Something like that. That makes more sense, because right now those levels are confusing, makes no sense, and don't give us, the majority of people outside of Japan, a good idea on what the quality of the match is going to be. So that's it. That's pretty much it for the online. So the summary is that it works. It has a lot of potential, but it needs some work. It's not a lot of work. I think it's not revamping the whole thing. The basics are there, and they're working, and they can build on it, and they can fix it. Now the room, as I said, the lobby system, I hate it. I want my King of Fighters 14 lobby system back. If we can get that, obviously that's not something that they can do between now and the game release, which is less than 3 months away. But I'm pretty sure it's something that they can patch later on. As long as they say, hey, we can get that, just use this current system right now, which we made it better than beta, and then go from there. I think it'll be amazing. I think it'll be really amazing. Also, one very important thing, I would really want them to show Wi-Fi indicator. I want to know if I'm playing against someone using Wi-Fi. I want to have the option to play or not play against someone who has Wi-Fi. Most of the time I will play with people who have Wi-Fi, but sometimes I'm in that mode where I want to just be more competitive, and I don't want to do that. So I want to have that opportunity. Hopefully they'll listen, and hopefully they're watching this video and they know what we think. But again, the game is fantastic. I can't wait to play it again. I can't wait, and I hope SNK is gonna do another beta, because this was wow. This was a crazy weekend. The game again has a lot of potential. It definitely has the potential to be the best KOF game in terms of gameplay. Visually, it's stunning. Music, sounds are just phenomenal, and the online works, but needs some work. But that's my takeaway from this whole thing. What do you guys think? Did you get a chance to play the beta? Let me know in the comment section. What did you think? What was your experience like, in terms of gameplay and, of course, the netcode? Let me know all that and more. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, thank you guys for watching.